morning! Happy Tuesday and welcome back to my channel. So I have today off because of a holiday and I pretty much scheduled this entire day so that I can do some painting and mark making for my CAD class. So I'm pretty much just going to be messing around with paint all day today, and the goal is to just make a whole bunch of stuff that I can later mess with in Photoshop. So it should be a pretty chill day and I'll show you as much as I can. Here are some of the other painting experiments that I've done so far for both my CAD and weaving collections, which are inspired by the topic of bioluminescence. Today, I just want to use some cheap acrylic paint and make some marks on paper that can hopefully help inspire some more loose, free-form geometric designs. So I'm actually going to start my day off by going to the grocery store to look for some mark making supplies, which sounds a little bit weird, but the grocery store is a great place to find inexpensive things that if you just cover them in paint and stamp them on paper, you can get some really cool shapes. I went into this without any kind of plan, and I just wandered around the store trying to imagine what things might look like if they were printed. My goal was to create some simple round shapes, so I went for items that I could cut and work with really easily. I also found some ramen, which could potentially make some interesting textures. Mission accomplished, and I probably looked like a crazy person with what was in my cart. The first item I got was a potato, which I commonly see people using for stamping and mark making, so I thought I'd give it a try. I decided to keep things super simple and just slice the potato into round discs, which could give me some fun polka dot options. Then I just covered each slice in acrylic paint and stamped them onto my black paper. I made one whole sheet of stampings using just white paint, a second sheet using two colors, and a third sheet using all of my colors together at once. The fun thing about doing mark making like this is that you get really unique, unexpected textures. The color itself doesn't really matter all that much because I can always edit it later in Photoshop, but I couldn't really create textures like this from scratch on my own, just like out of my head, and that element of randomness is really inspiring. Next up, I wanted to give the kiwi a try. I thought because it has like that center hard part and all the seeds surrounding it that maybe the stamp would turn out interesting, but I'm not really sure if I like how it came out. It almost kind of looks inappropriate, so I don't think these are gonna get used. Next up, I wanted to print with a cucumber, but after doing my last two prints, I definitely had enough of like filled in circle shapes, so I decided to carve out the center of the cucumber to give me some ring shapes. I actually really like how these turned out, and they definitely ended up being my favorite prints of the day. And last but not least, I wanted to give the ramen printing a try. This definitely did not turn out as expected because the ramen wasn't like flat on the top, so I didn't get a nice even print. But I was already sitting there covered in paint and I didn't want this to totally go to waste, so I decided to just stamp it all over the page to try to get that all over texture look. I actually do like how this one came out, and I think it has a lot of uses in Photoshop, so I'm definitely keeping it. By the end of the day, I had quite a little collection of prints that I know I'm gonna definitely make some good use out of. Good morning, happy Wednesday. Me and all my things are heading to campus early today so I can work on my tabletop stuff before my afternoon class today. So let's go. So I'm in my usual empty classroom, and today I'm gonna work on my casual dinnerware collection. So this includes a dinner plate, salad plate, bowl, and mug. And these designs have been finalized for a little while now, and today I'm gonna focus on getting them onto some nice paper and then starting some practice painting. traced all my designs onto some nice paper. They're definitely not perfect, but this is all still like the practice and trial stage of this process, so I'm okay with it not being perfect. And then I also traced a whole bunch of my mug design, just like over and over and over again, so I could just crank out swatches and trials without feeling like I had to trace a whole plate. So now I'm gonna unpack all my paints, get settled in, and see if I can come up with something that looks good. I just realized that I left my paintbrushes at home, so that's not great. I might just run downstairs to the Barnes & Noble, like the school bookstore, and see if they have any paintbrushes that I can get. I'm back, and I ended up getting a lunch, so it wasn't a total waste. So let's paint. This is my mood board for this project, and for my casual collection I was thinking something like this, which is like a watercolory background with then the like knotted structures being in white over the top, and my professor actually really liked this, which made me happy. The only thing is I have to now figure out what colors I want this to be, and I'm going to use my mood board to help guide that. After my whole day and my whole class period of making swatch after swatch and practice after practice, I think I finally narrowed down what I want this collection to look like, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. So the next step was to just paint the final draft, and we'll see how that goes. This is about how much progress I made, and I'll definitely pick up on this next week. Hello again, I just got out of class and it actually went pretty well, which is good. And now I'm actually heading to a movie date with Ryan, which I'm pretty excited about. We're gonna go see the first Avatar movie, One of the Blue People, and it's been a while since I've seen that for sure, so I'm excited. Good morning, happy Thursday! I'm on my way to campus. I have CAD first and then weaving in the afternoon, so should be a pretty good day today. Let's go! I started by scanning in all of those vegetable mark makings that you saw me make earlier in this video. Then I played around with turning them into some kind of a repeating pattern. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, but my teacher gave me the advice to just go forward, make a bunch of stuff, and then figure out whether it looks good later, so I decided to do exactly that. This super simple polka dot design was created using those cucumber rings that I made earlier on in the video, and I combined them with some spots that I made last week when I was creating those pink flowers. It felt like it was kind of missing something though, so I decided to put that ramen texture in the background just to make it look like a polka dot confetti party explosion kind of thing, and I think it's fun. I don't really know if it's like collection worthy, but we'll see. I also decided to continue working on that print that I made a couple weeks ago using stamped bubble wrap, and I think it's coming together. It kind of looks like a combination of sequins and fish scales, which I feel like is exactly what I'm going for. By the end of the class period, this is what my collection in progress was looking like, and I think it's heading in a fun direction, but it still needs a lot of work. After a quick lunch at the local deli, I headed over to my weaving class where we learned how to analyze woven fabrics. Then I hopped on a loom and I started working on my third weave of my textile collection. And this time I picked a loom with a beautiful pink warp. This weaving technique is called tissue picks, which allows you to make motifs in your weaving. I created a little motif that kind of looks like it could be a cell or a sparkle or a molecule, and I wove it on this pink ground that I think will match my other weaves really well. Originally, when I designed this motif, I intended for it to be circular, but because I was using such thick yarn, the design ended up vertically stretching. I actually really liked the look of this, so I kept going with it. And overall, I'm really happy with how this fabric turned out. Hello again, I just finished up that weave and that feels so good. That's 3 down and I think I only have 1 more to go, which I can see the finish line. Slowly but surely, and that's great. Anyway, I'm heading home now and it is the start of my weekend. I know this was like a really short and kind of strange week, but I'm definitely ready for the weekend to come back. I have a lot of things I need to do and I will show you anything interesting that happens. Good morning, happy Friday! I'm up bright and early today and I'm walking through Central Park on my way to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I have a paper due on Monday for my art history class, and a part of that assignment is that I have to go actually look at some artifacts in person, so I'm gonna go do that. Also, it is just an absolutely beautiful, like crisp fall day today, and I feel like this is the first one we've had of the season, so it officially feels like the seasons are changing, and honestly, I am so happy. I decided to celebrate this nice crisp weather with a wool jacket that you might recognize from my internship video. I'll do some little outfit pics and I'll show you everything that I'm wearing, but I wove this jacket during my 30 days, 30 meters challenge made entirely out of Noro scrap yarn, and then I brought it with me to San Diego to sew it up into this fun coat. And I'm excited to finally wear it because it's been too hot to wear it, for sure. Anyway, I have to figure out how to climb down all these rocks in these clogs, and then we're gonna go to the Met. I conquered it, and no ankles were broken. After a really lovely and relaxing morning of walking through the park, I finally made my way to the museum. But before I went in, I wanted to grab some breakfast, so I treated myself to a cold brew and a custard almond croissant, which was delicious. Then I finally headed inside. My assignment is to critique a museum exhibition, and I've been wanting to see the new Chroma exhibit, so I figured this was the perfect chance to check it out. I'm in, I got my tickets, and yeah, let's go. We're definitely all used to seeing statues from ancient Greece and Rome that are pure white, and for a big portion of modern history, it was believed that these statues were originally created this way. However, advancements in science and technology have led to the discovery that these statues were actually fully painted. This exhibit shares the work of 2 leading researchers in this field who have made reproductions of ancient statues in their original, crazy bright colors, which are just incredible. Not only because it totally changes the way that we look back at this time period's art and architecture, but also because it shows us how crazy fun their clothes must have been too. Most ancient textiles have been lost to time because natural materials biodegrade, but these kinds of discoveries can help us learn more about the ancient world's colorful aesthetics. Clearly, the Greeks and Romans loved loud color and intricately designed, super bold patterns, which is such a joy. I mean, come on, look at these pants! I always love going to the Met. It's just such a fun time, but it's definitely overwhelming because there is just so much to see here. The building is just huge, so I always kind of just like pick a couple things I want to see and then call it a day before I get like totally burnt out. So I got what I needed for my paper, I had a great time, and now I'm gonna head home. That pretty much wraps up my whole week. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit all over the place just because I only had like 2 days of school and was doing all kinds of other stuff, but hopefully it was still fun. If you want to stick around and see how all my projects turn out, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!